So with the jig fully complete, the next thing I want to do is finish off adding in its details and save it out. So I'm going to the left-hand details panel and I'm going to scroll up and add in a description. It can also be a great idea to add in a date. This will help you know which is the latest version of the jig, and the creator's name. This will just mean that it's easy for you to track down who created the jig so that they can make any necessary changes. Tags are a great way for refining your searches in the Create tab of the JigSpace app. If I add in hairdryer, it'll just make it easier to search for this one. I could also add in a part number, and that will help you understand which of the models contain which parts in case there are any updates. Now we have our thumbnail from the initial model, but it no longer reflects the main focus of this jig, which is the internal components. So I'm going to change which thumbnail I use. So clicking back into our scene, I'm going to select step 3. This shows the hot air inside our hairdryer, and I'm going to use this as our new thumbnail image. It's good to create a new thumbnail image so that you can differentiate between this one and the demo file that we saved out earlier. And now we have a couple of other tools. We have our presentation options. Here you can change the background color of your jig. This can be a great option for when you have a model with lots of very small white or silver pieces in the scene. If you select a black background, these will contrast against that quite well. You can also select a color that matches your product's branding. It's up to you. In this case, I'm just going to keep it white for now. We also have autoplay steps. And when I select this, it opens up more menu items. Now, when you autoplay steps, you can select the time it takes to play each step. I would recommend that you find which step has the longest instructions or text in it, and you time yourself reading that. And then you can use that time as the time for the text to play, because you want to make sure that everyone has the ability to fully read your text before it moves to the next step. You can also add looping to your jig. This will just mean that when you hit the final step, it'll loop back to step 1 and continue through the jig. In this case, I'm just going to leave it off for now. And now we have our sharing jigs. If you want to share a jig link, it's important to make that jig link public. This means that you can share it amongst employees or stakeholders of this jig, and they can have a look at it. And if you need to make it private later, you can just select it again and switch it back to private. And then those links will no longer be active. But now I'm just going to leave it on. And then you can copy this link and it will allow you to share jigs via email or any other media. When people click on the link, and if they have the app installed, it will automatically load them straight into the jig. If they don't have the app installed, it'll take them to our download page where they can download the app, and once they click on it again, it'll load straight into the jig. And one of our final options is team access. So this can be a great option if you're working within a company account and you want other people in that company to be able to view and review your jigs. By clicking this and selecting OK, anyone that opens up the JigSpace app from your team and logs into their account will be able to see this jig in their Team Jigs section. So with all of this complete, I'm going to press save and I'm going to go back into the main menu. And now, as you can see, we have our 2 jigs here, both the base model and the demo jig. And if I go to Team Jigs, you can see that the hairdryer demo jig has loaded into the Team Jig section. So next I'm going to select this and click into its details, and as you can see here, I can create a QR code of this jig. So using this image and saving it out, I'll be able to add this to any form of media that I have. I can add it to pamphlets or instruction manuals, and people will be able to load up my jig and learn more about our new product, or they'll be able to step by step work their way through a repair or service manual.
Thank you so much for that, Laura. And I've actually just scanned that QR code on my phone, and I just wanted to show you guys what a jig looks like in augmented reality, because obviously augmented reality and having the ability to view these jigs in one's own environment is one of our most powerful tools at JigSpace. If you were creating a product demonstration, customers being able to see this product in their own environment is extremely important. But we also have a lot of customers using jigs for training, for sales, for prototyping, and essentially anything where 3D visualization is key to achieving a purpose. And we've also just launched Web Viewer and App Clips, which means that you no longer need the JigSpace app downloaded on your device to be able to view jigs. Essentially, they're available for any device. And lastly, I wanted to give you a quick overview of the Jig dashboard. Our dashboard is an online resource. You can access it via the app, but you can also simply Google it by writing dashboard.jig.space. And essentially, our dashboard is an online resource, and it gives you more comprehensive functionality, particularly with respect to sharing settings, privacy settings, team sharing settings. All of that is accessed via our Jig dashboard. So you can see all the tabs on the left-hand side of the screen will take you to different functionalities with respect to what I've just mentioned. And then by clicking on one of the thumbnails of your jigs, you also have the ability here to share that specific jig with your team, make it public. You can also make copies of jigs and transfer ownership so that certain team members can have private ownership of specific jigs. So all of this ability and functionality can be accessed via our dashboard. So that brings us to the end of this first classroom session. Now, we hope everyone enjoyed it, and we hope you also learnt a lot and you feel a lot more confident using JigSpace now. Before you leave, I just wanted to bring your attention to some of the resources that we'll have on this webpage. So we will have documentation, which will include all the features and tools that we learnt in this lesson today. If you enjoy reading rather than watching, we'll also have a link to the jig so that you can watch it back and see the jig that Laura created in this class today. We'll also have a 3D model, a sound file, and a video file. Now, all of these will be the files that Laura used to create this jig today. And the reason we've uploaded them is so that you can go back and attempt to create this jig yourself and actually put the skills you've learnt today to practice. If you struggle with that, we'll also have a link for you to ask any questions or give us any feedback, and also a link to book a one-on-one session with someone from our team if you're looking to go a bit deeper into JigSpace. So that is the end of our session today. Thank you so much, and we hope you enjoy using JigSpace.